Welcome back, ladies. Today we're going to talk about Lighthouse shoes. So yesterday we talked about Count on Me shoes. Today we are talking about Lighthouse shoes, and the reason I really wanted to talk about this pair of shoes is dare I say, I always assume that people always know that I'm there for them, like my friends, or if someone ever wants to make a booking with me or whatever. But especially with people, family members, friends, I just always assume that they know that I'm actually there for them if needed, right? And sometimes, dare I say it, if people who are really struggling are so far down the rabbit hole, they don't even know where to look. They are so lost in the labyrinth of crazy, depression or downward spiraling, that they're going so fast that they can't actually see a way out. They can't even see the light at the end of the tunnel. Quite often there is no light at the end of the tunnel for some of them, and I really would love to have it where we can adopt these Lighthouse shoes that make it obvious, just like they had with the ships, to bring you into safety. Like, here's the light. This is the beacon of light that you can follow. Just follow that light. And as long as you stay course on that, you may be crashing through the waves. You may, get knocked by the winds. You might, it'll be a turbulent ride. But if you stay on course and keep that focus of that lighthouse, there's hope, isn't there? And a lighthouse is the hope. So for me, it's like, if we adopt more Lighthouse shoes where we can be the lighthouse for some people, we don't even need to be the actual rescuers. We just need to be that person that they can focus on until such time as they get up out of the waters of depression, or it might be illness, it might be whatever it is, and you may not have the tools to actually help them, but you can call the contingents in that will actually help you, the team. It's like, right, well, we've now seen that you're dehydrated and you needed this, and then we can call the respective team members that are needed to help. Maybe we need to have a chopper to fly in and actually rescue you, to take you out to safety. Maybe it's that if it's really dire, you need CPR at that point, and we get the ambulance guys in to actually do that. Maybe you get trained to the point where you actually are able to do that. So yes, I'm talking physically here, but it's a metaphorical analogy, so to speak, about how we can do that in real life for other issues as well. It's like, be the hope, be the I suddenly got the Gandhi thing going on there, be the light that you wish to see in the world. It's like, be that hope, rather than, like, I look at it this way: what's the point of being in there with everybody else, looking dark and being depressed? You might as well be the person who goes, be the light that's going to change that, right? So to me, it's like, I'd sooner be that person saying, look, we will find a way out of this together. Sometimes it's a whole group thing. It's not just a one person thing. It could be that it's like, I'll give you an example where it's a physical thing. So say, they're having, I don't know, say they're being treated for cancer or some neurological disease, or they've reacted, to something, or they can't find out what's wrong with them. Be the light for that person with your Count on Me shoes, okay? And you've got your Lighthouse shoes, and you're going, we will find a way. We will find a way. And, maybe it's that you go and, do your research, you go and, get your inspector shoes on, and you go and do your research out there. It's like, it might require that you think outside the square, that you look for different, methods other than just one, just because the mainstream funded way for pharmaceuticals and medical advice is funded by government, by pharmacy, whoever. It doesn't mean it's the only way. I'd love to have it where it's like, let's take the best of all worlds. To me, that's logical. It's like best of herbalism, best of naturopathy, best of Chinese medicine, best of energy, best of spiritual, best of like, have your top 10 list. for whatever that particular condition might be. And then you can go, right, here's your list. So you see, just by having your inspector shoes on and going out and investigating what their different options are, really great with fives. If you've got any five friends, these are hot on this one, by the way, because they love doing all their research. They're all the, you know, the book nerds and the bookworms, I beg your pardon, and you know, they're really into like, let's find different things. And you know, I found more research and stats on that. They're great to have around. They're great to have around because they're the guys who will give you all the information that you need. And then once you've got all your different options, instead of having that one option that may or may not be working, if it's working, fantastic, yeah, sweet, you know, it's all good, people. But maybe it's where, you know, it's not really working, or it's working to some degree, but actually you need a lot more. And if they're only trained in that one way, then that's all they're going to be able to tell you, right? So it's going to be up to you. But sometimes if the person is so sick and so unwell, you know, they don't have energy. They're just trying to fight to stay alive, you know. It's just like for them to have to go and do all this research and to try this, and then they, you know, you know, spiritually and morally and mentally, emotionally down. Sometimes you need to be that light, that beacon of light, and go, you know what, we will find a way. There is an option here, you know, and we'll find out what that is. Okay. I might actually talk about MacGyver shoes in the next video, because that's one of the things that will help with that. But let's look at even on a mental level. Okay. Emotionally, they are so overwhelmed. They're so drained. They feel so lost. They might have had so much trauma that they've never dealt with. It might be, you know, big traumas, little traumas, a lot of little traumas that have now made a big trauma. It could be that, you know, it's a major relationship breakup. It could be that it's an identity crisis because, you know, you used to have a job and you were a high-flying CEO, and because of COVID or whatever it was, you know, some kind of pandemic or something that happened, you've lost the job, and or you've lost your business, and now the rug's been pulled out from underneath you, and you're like in the sea of chaos, of emotional turbulence, and you're struggling and feeling like you're drowning, and you're going, help, how the hell do I get out of here? Or you don't want to look like you need any help because, you know, I'm strong enough, I can do it. I get a lot of that. You know, and we've got to have somebody or someone or something, which is what I'm hoping this channel will be, is a lighthouse of, this is hope. This is where you can go, right, if I just focus on that and I just keep on going in this direction, I will get the help that I need. I will get saved. That is dry land. I will get out of this turbulent waters. I know that it's only temporary and that I can actually make it, you know. And that's from an emotional perspective. And it's like, when I get there, you know, how amazing to know that there'll be at least one person who's the lighthouse person, who's shining the light, who hopefully is switched on and has called in the team that are going to come in and rescue, that are relevant to whatever's going on for me. So in this case, it would be a mental team. And sometimes you need a physical component to it as well. So you might need, you know, natural herbs that will balance your system if you've got a hormonal surge, like, you know, God bless us lovely ladies, you have, you know, their girlies every single month, and then they have you know, postnatal depressions, and then they've got menopause and premenopause, and you know, and so it goes on, plus all the other stresses. So sometimes we actually need to have the, you know, minerals and vitamins and herbal and whatever to help you bolster so that you can stay out on that dry land, right? And it's like, if you've had a knock in business, then, you know, maybe we get a business coach on board, and so your rescue team will be different at the Lighthouse Tower to the ones that, you know, where it's in a physical one that's required. You know, it might be, you know, if it's a mental or physical thing, it might be that you have an integrative approach, whatever works for you, your shoes, your path, your way. But at least knowing what your choices are will give you that option. And that's why I like that, you know, we always had those top 10 music lists growing up in Zimbabwe, and well, everywhere it was like, you know, the top of the pops, you know, the top 10. Like, once you've done your research, what are your top 10 that you could then pick from? And then it's up to you. You have the power to choose. You're empowered to go, right, I'm going to wear this pair of shoes to heal. I choose to do this pair, this, so I'm going to wear those kind of shoes. So it might be that you do exercise that helps you, so you've got to have your yoga shoes on, or it might be that it's your running shoes to burn off excess adrenaline, or it might be that you got to get your committed shoes on because you're like, I've got to follow through, man. I've got to stick with this. I can't be doing this flaky business. I've got to stick with it even when the times are tough. Have that maintenance regime. Maybe it's that I'm accountable to myself, but I need somebody who's going to help me be accountable. So have a coach that actually helps you. But you've got to get to that dry land first. And quite often I find where people get so overwhelmed with what's happening, they just literally drowning in the chaos of whatever's going on for them, that they can't even see the wood for the trees. They're so thick in the forest, or they're in the water, and they're like, I just anything. And one of the dangers that we have with that is that false hopes are thrown out there. People who don't have count on me shoes, people with poor intentions, like I was talking about those black swan shoes. It's like, what's really going on? Like when you're in that chaos and that turbulent water, and someone throws you a lifeline, it's got barbed wires on it, in your panic, you're going to grab it, and it's actually going to do more harm than good. It's going to cut your hand, isn't it? Or you get taken off on this thing thinking that was my light, and then I go over there and I find out that it's actually worse than having been in the damn water. I would have been better to have stayed in the water and gone, right, let's be the real light, the solid light, the one that can sustain the knocks of the waves, the ones that can sustain the turbulent winds, which is what the lighthouse is built for. That, like, you see these pictures of crashing waves, and like most structures would be worn away by that after years and years of turbulence and years of waves crashing up against them like that, but it's and where the electrics still work. So if it's solid and it's and you can count on me. I am follow this beacon of light, come to this light. And if they've got all these other false ones, like, oh, dare I say it, like these quick one silver bullet things for health, and even for mental health, and they go, just take this one pill, this'll fix you, just take this one herb. Be careful of those things, because do go and do your research before you just go headlong into something like that, because if your body composition can't handle it, it could make the situation even worse than what it was before. It's not a holistic approach. A one bullet approach is not holistic, and we are holistic beings. So this is my whole thing, is like, with my clinic, it's called Kotahitanga, which is all about wholeness. It's one, it's inclusive of the spirit, it's the body, it's the connectivity of the whole. We don't just go, right, okay, your eye is out of whack, so we'll just pop out one, put another one in. You got to know that you've got like fully focused in the right direction, not replacing anything artificially, doing things naturally, looking at the whole thing. I don't know why I did the eye thing. That was a bit weird, wasn't it? Sorry about that, guys. That's even freaking me out. But what I'm trying to say is, like, you don't just take off one bit and then put another bit on. And let's just go, it was a mannequin and not a real person, because that imagery is just really totally freaked me out. I don't know if it has you. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to do that to you. Anyway, moving swiftly on. The whole concept is that holistic approach rather than the one bullet approach. So do be careful of those, it's like those quick get rich quick schemes, and also be sure that do your research, get your number 5 Enneagram shoes on, and do lots of research, your inspector shoes on, because you really want to be checking out that it's a good solid lighthouse that you're swimming to, and that's going to be a good resolution for you, because at the end of the day, that's your firm ground, and you want to land on ground that you can trust, that and if you've got that goosebump thing going on inside where someone throws you a lifeline and it's like and even though you're struggling, and you can see these barbed wires on it, and you're going, oh, no, 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 I'm in denial. I don't think I want to see that, but I'll just grab it anyway. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your source, your connection to the higher God source, whatever you want to call it, label it what you want. And go, do you know what? No, as much as it's saying that silver bullet would work for me, that lighthouse has been there for years. That lighthouse is connected. It's stood the test of time. It's, had all the waves going up again. It saved multiple ships before. I'm going to go over there and swim right on past, because you don't, and that we did see a lot of that, didn't we, with the pandemic, dare I say, people throwing false hopes out to people. And again, you see the black swan is like, what's the real intention behind that? If they get your focus when you're in a stress mode, you're going to get sucked into this vortex of, let me tell you, despair and spiraling. And getting out of that is going to be way worse than if you had actually stayed in the water, swum, found other people who have got counter issues, stick together as a clan and get back onto the lighthouse that's at on solid rock, on solid terrain, that will get you above the ground of ever having to deal with that again. So I'm a very big fan of Lighthouse Shoes and letting people know that the lighthouse is on. Unfortunately, one of my drives for this channel has been a dear friend of mine that I went to university with, God bless her. And I still deal with a bit of guilt, if I'm honest, because being a coach, she reached out to me. And because she was in South Africa and I was in New Zealand, and she was getting help with a psychologist, a psychiatrist actually at the time. And I don't tend to work, I didn't used to tend to work together with a psychiatrist particularly, because I often find that, and this is just a personal thing, and I'm not saying there's any right or wrong, honestly, guys, it's your shoes, it's your path, it's your way. You've got to choose what's right for you. This is what this whole, thing about having this channel is all about. That's what Vicki Jane is all about. It's your shoes, your path, your way. So if the psychiatry stuff actually does work for you, then sweet, carry on with it by all means, But what I often found from a coaching perspective is that a lot of those drugs switch off your emotions, and it makes it very hard for me to access those emotions, which is the very thing I'm actually trying to shift. And if you can't actually access them in the first place, obviously you're not then able to shift them. So quite often I wait until people have, tapered off to the point where at least we can start getting to what's really going on, so that we can shift it at the deep roots level and get them shifted from A to B, then to C, and then get them out. But if I'm only up at C and they've been switched off up here, there's no way I can get down to here. I can do hypnotherapy, I can do all the other techniques as best I can, but quite often I find it really hard. So wrongly, this is something that I could look back on and I would do differently now if I could. I said to her, she reached out to me, and it was very casual. It wasn't like, oh, can I have some coaching? She was just reaching out as a friend saying, I've been struggling a little bit. And you see, she played it down. Don't do that. If you I have something called a happiness scale, 1 to 10. And where are you on that happiness scale? If you're at a 10, then you're at your top. You're like, sweet, I'm really happy with life. But if you're going below the 5 mark, and certainly if you're down at the 2 or 3, guys, you have to reach out, and you want to have it where you're reaching out ideally before the train is out of control. To be able to divert a train at the start of the track is so much easier than if it's runaway train right at the end of the track. And now it's like I was saying, to some ladies yesterday, it's like having Richie McCaw, the captain, someone professional or someone like me who can come in and tackle them and get them off that road so that they don't wipe out, that they don't check out, they don't choose to check out. Now, unfortunately, she played it down. She played it that things weren't as bad as it actually was for her. I had no idea because I hadn't been in South Africa, hadn't seen her. We only had periodic conversations, and they were very lightweight kind of conversations. She would have certain deeper conversations with me, and then we'd clear stuff, and then it would be, moved on, and I thought she was on top of it, but obviously she wasn't. Anyway, sadly, she chose to go for a swim in the sea in Cape Town, and she never came back. So once a year, there's a big suicide walk that happens worldwide, and whenever that walk is on, it's been cancelled because of the pandemic, unfortunately, but every year whenever that comes on, I walk that for her. That's my time with her. So sorry, bit emotional. Taking a breath. Whew. I don't want people to ever know that lighthouse isn't there for them. And I don't even have to be that lighthouse. You can, find a lighthouse that does work for you. There's a lot of wonderful lighthouses, a lot of teachers, a lot of amazing people out there that can shift you into a place that can throw you the lifeline that you need, and honestly, just don't wait. Just reach out. Just be that person that's brave enough that goes, do you know what, it is actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, and can you be there for me? And I want the Super Soul Sisters to be that, to be trained up. If you ladies, if you learn all the stuff that I'm teaching you, that's when you actually make a difference in someone's life. It's like you actually go, oh my God, today it wasn't, that I just did something nice for somebody. That's sweet. That's wonderful if you do that. But if you can get to a point where you go, it made a difference enough for them not to check out, God damn, that was worth doing this channel for, And there are so many people, God bless, especially since the pandemic, that they're struggling, man. They're struggling, and we need more people trained up, that are not only there for themselves, that they can count on themselves to the point that they're so empowered that you've learned. If you learn all these tools, if you learn all the stuff that I'm teaching you, not only are you going to be able to be there for yourself 110%, but you're going to be able to be there for your kids, for your partner, for your family, for your whānau is what we call it in New Zealand, but you will also be there for your friends, for your extended community, your immediate community, your extended community. What a life is that? That's amazing. Those are shoes you want to wear. This is what this is all about. This whole group is about. I want Super Soul Sisters in there. I want to, sister, you down, I will be there. I will be there. I will help you out, and I will help you with all the tools that I can. And if I don't know all the tools, damn it, I'll go find out, and I will learn, and I will be there, not only for myself, but for you as well, because I'm strong enough now. Now, if you're not strong enough yet, you fix it. You make it happen for you. You take that step today, so that you can put on your lighthouse shoes for other people. If you're the person in the water, find a pair of lighthouse shoes, someone who wears those, and swim towards one that you can trust. If you've got goosebump shoes that are saying, don't go that way, don't go that way. As tough as it is, find a pair that will work for you, okay? Let's do this. Let's step up. And whoever's with me, please say, I'm in. # Lighthouse Shoes, I'm in. # Lighthouse Shoes, I'm in. Put it in the comments box. Thank you so much, ladies. It was a moving talk today for me and hopefully for you too. Enough to get you into your shoes, on your path, your way. God bless you. Love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.